I'm shook and I'm tired. It's 9:30 on a Sunday and I've spent another day building things and having my mind blown by what generative AI can do. And this feels old hat at this point to say this. I want to look back in a minute at some of the original stuff I was doing in probably 21, 22 with Midjourney and look at the difference since then. But I've had my trapdoor moment. It's happened. I've felt the trapdoor fall from under me. All the foundations I had around what my career was going to be, my prospects, the work I was doing in and around generative AI and marketing, advertising, design. In the last couple of weeks, the speed at which I've been impacted by this stuff has hit me, and it's really shocking. I've been playing around with the autonomous coding agents like Replit, 01, Lovable, one of my favorites. I had ignored them for a long time because I thought I was kind of on top of all this, and I was using ChatGPT or Claude, just prompting that and chatting with that about code changes. But the minute I started touching these autonomous coding agents, everything changed. I've always built things, right? So whether it's websites, automations, CRMs. I used to be a video game project manager for several years. You know, I've done a whole bunch of that, but I've never been a developer. I've never sat down with code and enjoyed myself. Over the last few years, I've certainly been using Claude and ChatGPT and others to help me prompt me with like CSS tweaks and maybe a tiny bit of JavaScript or trying to decode something, debug an issue. But that's as far as I could go. There was always a hard limit on how much development I could do. But now I can build anything I've ever wanted to build by myself with plain language, English, and some basic foundations around how software and applications work. And if I can do this now, imagine where the world will be in another 6 months. We're at the very beginning of this phenomenal shift. It's about to immediately affect me, my family, my business, and I've never been so excited. So I want to draw a parallel here with where Midjourney was in the summer of 2022, just under 3 years ago. These are the very first images that I made in the very first version of Midjourney. I got onto it very early, and this stuff blew my mind. Oh my God, I could type anything in and it could appear on the screen. And for some reason, summer 2022, Ben really wanted to know about Soviet-era astronauts floating in the blackness of space. He has no face. Instead, vibrant, colourful flowers are bursting from his visor. And now let's see what I've just taken that exact same prompt and put it in here, and look what we've got. Look at the difference. And that's in 2 years. And actually, this is easy. Before 2 years, it was capable of doing this stuff. Absolutely amazing. Weirdly though, I can also take that same prompt, and now through not even any technology, I can chuck it into a completely open source model and press enter a bunch of times, and what used to take minutes after minutes at a time, I can churn out these 4, 8, 12 images, costing me about 1 to 2p using Black Forest Labs. Instantly create imagery. I could take that and change it. It's, I don't know, a spaceship in the background. Anyway, none of this is new, but I wanted to draw the parallel here between what we can do then to now with just image generation and what I can do right now with app builds compared to what I'll be doing in another 6 months, and just kind of further hammer home the point that what we can do with today's app building tools will look primitive in another 6 months. Over the last few weeks, I've spent dozens of hours inside Lovable building and playing around with tools for myself and for my clients and my family. Let's have a look at some of them now. This is a home extension cost calculator that I was considering maybe I could sell this to construction firms. It could live on their website, have a Google tag attached on the back end. Just a little lead gen thing here. Gets people through to a really lovely, you basically get rid of it, qualifies people if they're time wasters or not, and gives them this great result on the end. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Book a free consultation. Request your quote. Oh no, yeah, this is just a stoic voice. So I try and journal a lot, but I often wish I could just speak into a machine. This thing now is like a voice-powered stoic journal. So as you talk to it, it's always specifically for the fathers as well. As you talk into it, it's going to progress how stoic you've been, how your mood's been. It's going to track all of your reflections. It's going to attach your entries into the journal to like stoic philosophy and be like, oh, you were very stoic today. That's literally from a rough idea. This idea is some kind of wizard that helps you, once you've built your website, analyze it to make sure that it's actually fully ready to have Google Ads run on it. So it runs compliance. It runs through setups here. This one is something, so for a friend of mine, he wants to get people to use this interactive calculator on his website as a bit of a kind of curiosity-led lead magnet. Again, you fill out this stuff. It looks all beautiful. It matches his branding exactly. We worked on this together. This actually took quite a lot of time to get it perfect, but look how amazing this is. He's going to get this deployed on his website. This was me working with my Google Ads Assistant Buddy to see if we could make a tool that could somehow plug into the Google Ads API and help us with one of the biggest chores we have, which is negative keyword exclusions of search terms. And this thing would actually use AI reasoning to say, I don't think we should have the word free in there. What do you think? Yes or no? This actually just requires the API, which I now have access to. This tool could be built tomorrow. I've wanted this tool for my whole career, but I don't know if anyone does it. And if they do, they're charging a ton of money for it. This was a garden room visualizer, so you can imagine this sat on a website, helps you build out the price of your garden room. I want a pitched roof with engineered wood, always coming up, price is coming up a bit. I want the electrics package, and then I'll get my detailed quote. This is all built autonomously off of the back of a handful of sentences of ideas from me. I've got a fully interactive game here that I made with my kids. You come in, you can have a feathered cow, a glowing feathered cow. That will evolve out. Meanwhile, over here, you can buy new types of animals. You can have achievements. You can even change up the words, all AI-generated words. The image is being AI-generated right now. Once it's done, the description of the animal is AI-generated. And the name of it is AI-generated. I can add that to the zoo. This stuff is just working mostly off of voice, like just me talking into Lovable, doing this. And my final one, I got so tired of having all these ideas and nowhere to write them down, and got sick of just putting them in the WhatsApp group or into my notes app, that I just created an idea logger, which can be a rush idea or can be thought out. So let's come up with one now. A web app that helps you figure out which lights to buy to look good on YouTube. Let's transcribe my idea. There's a transcription, and now it's going to come up with some additional things for me to think about. So components that would be needed, the follow-up questions to expand the idea. I'm not going to deal with this now. I'm just going to send it to my ClickUp. If we flick over there, you can see it will arrive any second. In my ClickUp YouTube lighting recommendation tool, with all of that text in there for me to come revisit this later, maybe as another idea. And then I threw in a rushed version as well if I didn't want to think about it at all. A recycling center login tool to keep track of all of the cars that come in by reading the number plates, so that someone doesn't have to do it with human hands and eyes. And the rush mode is there's no additional thinking. It's just literally taking my thing, sticking it over to ClickUp. Don't know if it's going to give it a name, actually. Should do. Should give it a little lightning. Yeah, new app idea, rush. Just done. Just that. So, incredible. As someone who has never made an application before, I'm suddenly at my fingertips for less than 200 quid a month, have infinite power. And I'm well aware I'm not the only person on the planet, and that anyone else can have that power today and will have it within the next few months. Interesting conclusion here. The barrier to entry has been lowered massively, but it is still there. There are a couple of things you're going to need if you want to do this. Number one is patience and experience discussing ideas with large language models such as ChatGPT. These tools require prompt engineering and a real understanding of how to structure things out. Otherwise, you're going to be going round and round in circles, because you're essentially talking to a toddler who will forget things eventually. Basic technical knowledge, even at like a project management level, so you understand the difference between a front end, a back end, a server, how to deploy things, what GitHub is. You're going to need to understand that, but that's just like an hour of YouTubing. And some weird things, like a good example is how to keep your API key secure. I understand I can do it through Supabase, which is the database system behind Lovable. But whenever I try and put it into practice, there's always something not quite working, and I'm not 100% sure at all whether it is actually secure. And I don't want that key to be revealed, because anyone could use it to rack up my bill. And of course, the biggest personal struggle, which is shiny object syndrome. I will often be working on 3 or 4 of these projects at the same time, because there's a 30-second kind of building experience as you put prompts into one. So throughout the last couple of weeks, I've easily been going on like 4 or 5 things at once, and then over in here in ChatGPT coming up with the next idea. It's not healthy, it's not the way to be. It's why I've built that voice app, so I can slow things down and really consider and make the plan and the project plan before I jump in and start building. So where's this going? By the summer, it's March now, by the summer it's going to be unrecognizable. By Christmas it's going to be panic stations when everyone is building these out. There'll be some saturation, there'll be some frustration, just like there has been with image generation and language models, because they are still not magic, they still are in the very, very early stages of their life. But if you are in a desk job and you can see where the writing is going in the next few years, then now is the time to pick up these tools. I don't worry about which one in particular because I think they're all going to be replaced or improved drastically from where they are now. But the process of coming up with these ideas about thinking about websites as apps, as dynamic lead generation tools that could sit on your website, as things to make your life better, shopping list. I didn't show you the shopping list app that I've been working on. Tools that you should go and look at. It's got a little list here. Go and look at Replit, Lovable, 01, Tempo Labs. They all come with a significant amount of free trial time. So I'd come up with some ideas and then go and just see what happens when you try and play with them. Small wins now are going to compound massively over time. And as everyone's been saying since the beginning, it's not AI that's going to win. It's going to be the humans that know how to work and manipulate and work with AI that are going to be the winners, at least in the short to medium term. So I'm sharing insights. I'm trying to share everything I'm doing. I want to show you how I'm making money with this stuff. I'm just going to show you how I'm making other people money with this stuff. I'm going to share all the apps I'm building. I can't see any reason to hide anything because anyone can literally build any idea they have. And none of my ideas are going to be better than anyone else's. The core thing I'm going to look at is still what I do best, which is marketing and selling, psychology of how to get people to convert. I need to still plug Stripe and payment systems into the back of these things. I need to look at all of that. I need to consider the accounting issues when because I'm spending all this money on these apps. I'm going to be raising money through the single limited business. It's an insane time to be sat in front of a screen doing this stuff. It's very, very exciting. I've not even begun to think of the generational issues this is raising with my kids beyond making the fun animal game. And if you're watching this, you need to be experimenting and I want you to do it with me. So let me know what you're thinking about and what you're toying with. And if you've got any challenges, ping me a message. I would love to do stuff. I'd love to build in public with all of you and share everything we find. Good luck. Let's see what we can do.